Shuzo Oshimi's happiness is the most accurate representation of a coming-of-age story in manga, not despite the vampires, but because of them. This manga serves as an introduction into the concept of Oshimi's erotic thesis. Oshimi combines these coming-of-age themes with a mystical fantasy overtone, and places it all into the sexually saturated world of modern-day Japan. He explores the concept of eroticism in various ways, but all through the lens of Okazaki, an ordinary teenage boy, by way of both his experiences and his transformation into a vampire. Through his daily school struggles, he intertwines these themes. Oshimi affords his readers a new perspective on sexuality and puberty in a way that pushes the boundaries of what is socially and culturally acceptable. Of course, this is a pretty bold claim, and one can make a compelling argument for the presence of more direct representation of sexuality in manga, such as Sakuran, where the themes of sex and coming of age are prominently showcased. Sakuran follows the journey of a main character who is actively resisting puberty and the societal expectations of womanhood. She engages in a lifestyle that revolves around sexually manipulating men. By placing such explicit depictions front and center, the manga offers raw and unflinching exploration of Japanese sexual development. This perspective may be considered more representative of individuals' experiences and challenges in navigating sexuality. However, the lack of explicit intercourse in happiness makes it the perfect representation of sexual exploration in Japan. Sex in Japan is uniquely taboo, as seen by the requirements for censorship in Japanese pornography and the low rate of sexual activity and reproduction exemplified by Japan's decreasing birth rate. And I quote, "Therefore, it is impossible that the incongruence between this taboo and actual behavior such as pornography use causes psychological distress. There are many theories about why sex is declining, such as overstimulation from increasing pornography addiction or reduced interaction between the opposite sex outside of the school and work environment. This cultural environment has led many to find unconventional eroticism in their daily lives and to sexualize things that otherwise would not be sexual, perhaps in avoidance of sex itself. It also has resulted in an overwhelming influx of sexualized media. Consequently, Japanese youth are going through puberty in a hypersexualized yet overtly censored world. We can see an example of this unconventional sexualization as the reader is introduced to the Oshimi vampire. Unlike the Western vampires such as Dracula, she has visibly bare legs and a pretty face. She's a femme fatale, and as she pounces on her prey, the panels are heavily compressed. This use of compression allows the reader to feel tension as she becomes intimately close to her target in a way that is arguably erotic. Compression is defined as the expectation that the reader feels something is closing in on our vision all of a sudden, and this sense of compression compels us psychologically to enter the mind of the protagonist. During the vampire's second attack, she preys upon Okazaki, and we see this compressed tension again. Many of the panels on these pages have close-ups of individual body parts, such as lips, tongues, and eyes. This objectifies both characters and intensifies the feeling of intimacy in this scene. Throughout both instances, we are subjected to onomatopoeia for heavy breathing. With sounds like ah and fu, you have the feeling that you are letting out a breath with your open mouth. But in this case, it's more of a ha, which is a much harsher sound and often associated with a sexual context, especially in anime and manga. In this scene, the vampire poses the question, "Do you want to be like me?" To which Okazaki avoids answering and simply replies with, "I don't want to die." This is representative of how there's a certain expected level of conformity in Japanese society. People will hide themselves and their desires in order to avoid standing out. This is paralleled by how Okazaki refuses to answer the vampire's question as she transforms him regardless of his words. Despite his lack of blatant admittance, we are exposed to many instances of Okazaki's physical and sexual exploration. For example, there are a series of small panels where he and his friend have been discussing the stress of their school life. Suddenly, we are presented with an underskirt shot of a female classmate walking upstairs. The artist gives a drastic vertical release into the reader's gaze, which previously was hemmed in by the constraints of top-bottom compression. This scene shows how moments of sexuality serve as a release from the pains and struggles of puberty for many young people in Japan. A similar example can be seen when Okazaki retreats to his room after being pestered by his family. He literally and figuratively releases himself from stress by masturbating while recalling the aforementioned underskirt shot. Yet, within this act of self-indulgence, there is no sex. Such an insignificant feel for pleasure such as an underskirt shot emphasizes the lack of experience and exemplifies the innocent nature of Okazaki's sexuality. At the same time, this imagery of sexual wastage implies a negation of human procreative impulse. While Okazaki's sexual exploration can be a relief from his troubles, exploring the uncharted territory of the Japanese sexual climate is inherently overwhelming for a young boy. The intense nature of sexualizing the whole world around you, yet having no one to confide in, is not a welcome feeling, and this is represented by Okazaki's torment and his intense desire for blood. The cumbersome form of sexuality is associated with the onomatopoeia we see translated as boof, which is only utilizes when Okazaki catches a whiff of the uniquely feminine scent of menstruation blood. Sensation-based onomatopoeia, like boof, is used to show the interiority of Okazaki's desire. Unlike the kind of meaning a sentence can convey, onomatopoeia are expressions that simply relate to our senses. Despite Okazaki's vampire status, no other kind of blood is associated with this specific onomatopoeia. He is manipulated against his own will to be overwhelmed by a desire for it. His intense yearning is expressed by jumbled, crooked, and heavily compressed panels. Each time he has an episode of profuse lust for blood. We also see this interiority of desire through the compressed melting panels during the second outburst as he navigates the halls, blinded by his vampire instincts. During this second outburst, Okazaki is abruptly released from his immense desire by a chaste embrace from a girl. After the embrace, she remarks, "Did you get so horny that you couldn't hold back over me?" Not only has she shown Okazaki a pure form of affection that can snap him out of his bloodlust, but she has accepted him for all that he is, desires and all. He can feel genuine acceptance of all sides of him. This feeling is comparable to reading an Oshimi manga, because the reader can experience the relief of how Oshimi's world is representative of all the weakness in humans. We are finally free to explore such subjects, with and without the guise of vampiric bloodlust. As the story progresses, we witness Okazaki's growing comprehension of the powers bestowed upon him as a vampire, leading him toward the choice to utilize his newfound strength. This is a notable turning point, as Okazaki chooses to save his former bully. This is a stark contrast with the earlier events in the manga where he initially resists even confronting his bully. Okazaki's hesitance stems from his fear of drawing unwanted attention to himself. However, he is evolving and understanding, and his growing confidence in his vampiric abilities allow him to overcome these concerns and embrace his potential. His gradual transformation is comparable to the freedom that comes with sexually accepting oneself and being open to standing out if it means that you could be more fulfilled. Despite the cultural taboo surrounding exploration in Japan sexually, Oshimi presents unconventional forms of eroticism that resonate with Japanese youth, experiencing a hypersexualized and censored world through his artistry and storytelling. Oshimi pushes boundaries, delving into his controversial ideas and shedding light onto topics often swept under the proverbial rug. Happiness is a commentary on the state of Japanese and social sexual cultures today. Given the ever-evolving nature of sexuality and its relationship with culture, Happiness is a work that will likely remain relevant for as long as Japanese sexuality exists as we know it today. It will continue to be a vital commentary for the current era, even if the culture begins to change. Oshimi's exploration of eroticism and personal growth provides a profound statement on the complexities of human desire and the societal forces that shape our understanding of sexuality. Happiness offers unique representations and perspectives of emotional suppression and sympathy for humanity's weaknesses. It serves as the perfect vessel to light a path toward acceptance through this eccentric tale. Oshimi offers a voice to those that may lack a way to express themselves and a perspective to those who may not be able to understand themselves and the desires of others. In short, I believe that Oshimi's manga Happiness serves as an irreplaceable window into the mind of the Japanese youth. Throughout all of his works, he has been able to push boundaries and talk about things that other mangaka and authors are not willing to address, with his works such as Okaeri Alice and Boku no Mari no Naka. And so if you haven't read it yet, I really hope that you read Happiness and you read his other works. But don't take them at face value. Don't take them as some degenerate slop. Take them as a way to see into the window of a different mindset and become more open-minded. Thank you for watching today. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is my first upload. This was something I was really passionate about, and I was writing this essay actually for a school project. And so I really hope you guys enjoy. Please subscribe if you want to see more content. I'm really interested in early 2000s manga and also Shuzo Oshimi, so if there's something you want me to talk about, please let me know. Thank you for watching. Goodbye!